We we really have to talk about what happened this weekend. It was, well, frankly, it was stunning.
Yeah, stunning is one word for it. Shocking, maybe.
Right. We're unpacking this 31-14 loss to the Chicago Bears, a
Yeah.
team that hadn't won a game all season.
Exactly. And it wasn't just, a close loss or a bad bounce here or there.
No, not at all. This is a complete beatdown. The team just looked lost out there, confused, maybe even lethargic.
Totally outmatched. And yeah, embarrassment is probably the right word. It really felt like that.
So the big question is, how?
Yeah.
How does a team with playoff hopes at home get dismantled like that by a winless opponent?
That's what we need to figure out. It wasn't just one thing. We're talking about, systemic failures here. Both sides of the ball.
Let's start with the defense then,
Yeah.
because, wow, they were just absent, especially early on.
Yeah, the first half was brutal. I mean, outside of maybe that first...
Chicago scored pretty much every time they touched the ball.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. It was 24-14 at halftime, and it felt like the Bears couldn't be stopped. When your defense, your supposed strength, looks that porous.
You know you've got major problems, serious issues.
And it wasn't just one kind of mistake either. That's what's so concerning. It was everything hitting at once.
Okay, so break it down. What were the main issues?
Two big things really stand out. First, the big plays, just getting grashed repeatedly.
Those are the ones that just deflate the whole team.
They absolutely do. And it keeps happening. Get this. In just 3 games, they've given up 12 pass plays of 25 yards or more.
12. That seems incredibly high.
It is. And listen to this. 11 of those 12, they've come in the last 2 games.
Wow. So this isn't just a fluke. It's a trend, a really bad one.
It's a pattern of failure in the secondary, plain and simple. We saw it play out perfectly, or rather imperfectly, against the Bears.
Give us the examples, the
Huh.
painful ones.
Okay, well, you had that 35-yard touchdown to Rome Odunze. Trayvon Diggs just falls down mid-route.
Ugh. Communication breakdown. Bad technique.
Yeah, it could be either, or both. But it's a critical error. Then, just when you hope they might tighten up,
The flea flicker.
yeah, the 65-yard flea flicker touchdown to Luther Burden III. The whole defense looked like they were, taking a nap.
That's completely fooled. You can't let that happen.
Yeah.
Not at this level.
Nope. Disciplined defenses don't get caught like that on trick plays for huge scores. It's bad football.
Okay, so the big plays hurt. A lot. But it wasn't just that, was it?
No, because if the quick strikes didn't get them, the slow, grinding drives finished the job. And honestly, that might have been even more demoralizing.
Thinking the inability to just get off the field.
Exactly. The second major failure, and the absolute prime example, the drive that really put the nail in the coffin, was in the third quarter.
Okay.
19 plays, 76 yards. It wasn't flashy. It was just methodical, agonizing.
19 plays. Good grief. How long did that take?
Nearly 10 minutes off the clock. 10 minutes. And it ended with a touchdown that made it 31-14. Game over, essentially.
Watching that from the sideline, or even as a fan, that's just torture. 19 plays. It feels like they just couldn't make a tackle, couldn't cover anyone. A failure of will, almost.
That's a good way to put it. It's physical, yeah, but it's also deeply psychological. Think about being out there for 10 straight minutes.
Just watching them chip away, 3 yards, 4 yards.
Exactly, sucking the life right out of you. It shows a complete lack of resistance when it really mattered, Short yardage situations, third downs, just couldn't get a stop.
And while all this is happening, Caleb Williams is having himself a day.
Oh, yeah. His best game as a pro, easily. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, passer rating of, 142.6?
Unbelievable numbers.
Yeah.
But here's the stat that made my jaw drop. Get this. The Cowboys were the first team all year.
Let me guess.
Not 1 sack. 0 sacks on Williams. How does that even happen?
That 0 sack stat,
Yeah.
That's the flashing red light, isn't it? It connects everything, the personnel, the scheme. It's all right there.
So let's talk about this scheme. The coordinator, Matt Eberflus. The irony, of course, is he used to be the Bears head coach.
Right. Fired by Chicago last season, and now his defense gets shredded by them. And he's taking a ton of heat for sticking to this zone coverage scheme almost religiously.
It feels like he's trying to force it, doesn't it? Like trying to jam square pegs into round holes.
But that's the criticism, yeah. Regardless of the personnel he actually has.
Because we saw it. Quarterbacks playing 10 yards off on 3rd and short.
Yep. Or DJ Moore just standing wide open in the end zone, literally looking around for a defender.
That seems like more than just a player mistake. That's schematic, right?
Well, it's probably both. Because the scheme gets badly exposed when the personnel isn't right or isn't there.
Okay, so let's talk personnel. Who was missing?
Well, you have to factor in the absences. No Deron Bland. No DeMarvion overshown. And Trayvon Diggs, like we said, he's playing hurt and he's clearly struggling.
But the biggest absence, the elephant in the room,
is Micah Parsons, traded before the season started. And that 0 sack number, that points directly back to him not being there.
You take away a game wrecker like Parsons.
And the whole pass rush just evaporates. Quarterbacks get comfortable. They have time to pick apart those zones that Eberflus loves so much. The coverage gets exposed way faster.
Okay, so the defense was a disaster zone, which means the offense needed to be practically perfect to have any chance.
And they weren't, not even close.
Let's shift there. Interestingly, they actually outgained the Bears yardage-wise, right? 396 to 385.
Yeah, but we all know yards don't always equal points, especially when you turn the ball over. But the biggest story on offense happened early.
CeeDee Lamb, the injury.
Yeah, that really cast a shadow over everything they tried to do offensively. It happened in the first quarter. Kind of a weird play, actually.
A designed run.
Yeah, a designed run for Lamb. He only lost a yard, but a linebacker came down right on his ankle. He went down hard.
And he tried to tough it out.
Yeah.
Came back in.
He did. Tried to give it a go in the second quarter, but you could see it right away. He just couldn't push off, couldn't make his cuts.
So he had to leave for good.
Yep. Done for the day.
Yeah.
And that snapped his streak, too. 4 straight games with over 100 receiving yards. Gone.
Now, after the game, Lamb said his ankle was all right, said he absolutely thinks he can play next week. But the team sounded less sure. Talking MRIs, keeping fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's always tricky, isn't it? Player optimism versus team caution. The fact they're talking MRI suggests it's more than just a minor tweak.
Right. His inability to actually play through it in the second quarter probably tells us more than the post-game comments.
I think so. Regardless, they had to play most of the game without their number one weapon, and, well, their offense really struggled to adapt.
Even beyond the Lamb injury, though, they were just sloppy. Incredibly sloppy.
Catastrophically sloppy. That's the perfect word. Turnovers. They lost that battle -4.
-4. You give the ball away 4 times, and the other team doesn't give it away once.
Your chances of winning plummet, especially when your defense is playing like that.
What were the turnovers?
Started early with a strip fumble by Javonte Williams. Killed a good drive. Then Dak Prescott threw 3 interceptions.
3 picks. Ouch. Any particularly bad ones?
Well, one was just kind of summed up the day. It bounced right off George Pickens' hands on what should have been a completion. Wide open drop turns into an interception.
Man, that's a drive killer and a momentum killer. Gives Chicago great field position, too. Just mental errors piling up.
Exactly. Lack of focus, maybe some fatigue setting in. It just felt like they weren't sharp at all.
And even when they moved the ball, they couldn't finish drives. What were they in the red zone?
A 1 for 4, I believe. Just couldn't punch it in.
Which led to field goals. 2 from Brendan Aubrey, right?
Yeah.
53 and 33 yards.
Yep. Points are points, but you need touchdowns down there, especially when you're trailing like they were, leaving points on the board constantly.
And without Lamb stretching the field. Yeah.
The offense got really conservative, really horizontal. Prescott only averaged like 6.3 yards per completion. That's not great.
Felt like everything was underneath.
It really did. They leaned super heavily on Jake Ferguson, the tight end. He had a monster day, statistically 13 catches, 82 yards.
13 catches.
Yeah, huge volume. But while that's great for Ferguson, it tells you a lot about the rest of the offense, doesn't it? When your tight end running short routes is basically your entire passing game, you lack versatility.
Yeah.
Badly.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Let's recap the damage.
Yeah.
We're sitting here. The team is 1-2. The defense is a mess. The offense is turning the ball over, and their best player might be hurt. And they've got a huge game coming up.
Huge is an understatement. They host the Green Bay Packers next week. And you know what the main storyline is going to be? It's unavoidable.
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons coming back to AT&T Stadium as a Green Bay Packer, facing the team that traded him away.
Oh, man. The drama. After watching that defense get 0 pressure on Caleb Williams.
Right. And now you have to face maybe the premier pass rusher in the entire league, and he's wearing the other team's jersey coming after your quarterback.
It puts that 0-sack performance against the Bears into terrifying perspective.
Absolutely terrifying. If they couldn't pressure Williams, how are they going to handle a Packers defense led by Parsons? The coaching staff, especially Eberflus, they need to do some serious self-scouting, as they call it, like right now.
They have to figure out how to fix those coverage busts. Yeah. How to manufacture some kind of pressure with the guys they have.
Because if they give the Packers offense the same kind of time they gave the Bears, it could get ugly again fast.
The pressure on Eberflus, on that whole defensive unit, it's just immense heading into this week. knowing number 11 is on the other side.
It's more than just getting back to .500. This game feels like a referendum, doesn't it? On the trade, on the coaching, on the whole direction.
So let's try to pull this all together. What we saw was just a total defensive collapse, right? Driven by a scheme that looks rigid, maybe ill-suited, and definitely hampered by personnel issues, especially the lack of Parsons.
Right, and then that was made so much worse by an offense that just couldn't hold on to the football, 4 turnovers, and lost its most dynamic player, CeeDee Lamb, crippling their ability to attack downfield.
Which leaves us, and leaves you listening, with a really big question heading into this Packers game.
Yeah, think about this. You saw the defense struggle against long drives and give up huge plays. You know the pass rush was non-existent, and you know that's directly linked to trading Micah Parsons. So the question really becomes, are these problems fixable with coaching tweaks and scheme adjustments? Or are the talent gaps, particularly on defense without Parsons, just too big to overcome quickly enough to actually salvage this season?
How you answer that probably determines how you see the rest of their year playing out.